Alright guys, I'm dealing today with U.S. History TEKS 10E, so let me read it to you. Describes significant societal issues of this time period, such as the war on drugs and the AIDS epidemic. So, war on drugs, we're going to see a push on efforts to combat drug use in the 70s. Coming out of the 60s, a lot of drug use is occurring. You can see under the Nixon administration efforts to start trying to deal with the large amount of drug use that is occurring. We're going to get the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, is going to come into creation. In the 80s, we're going to see efforts within the Reagan administration. His wife, Nancy, is going to do a campaign of, says just say no, basically to encourage younger populations to not take on drugs, not to use drugs, or the effects of drugs. We're also going to see a large movement in the enforcement and incarceration, basically putting people in prison for drugs. So we're going to see an incredible increase in those being placed into prison due to drug use, and that's going to affect a largely poorer populations, African American populations, specifically male populations. You're going to see a huge increase, and in Hispanic populations as well. We're going to see a large impact of them being incarcerated because of these drug laws. So, and that creates a lot of division about how effective these are, if it's affecting one population more than the other. So that's kind of the war on drugs at a very high level, very quick. AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. We're going to see this disease come to life in the 80s. The early populations that are affected by it is male homosexual population. It starts to first be seen like in San Francisco and New York. A little later you're going to see a lot of people, drug users who are sharing needles and passing this virus amongst them as well. But it is not a disease that discriminates, because it's going to hit all populations and spread regardless of sexual preference, or if you use drugs or you don't use drugs. But that's where it's seen first. 30 million people, I believe, worldwide are going to die. It's very debilitating, and it's going to, obviously have a serious impact. Now, today, there are drugs that help suppress or keep the virus minimized in the body. There's not exactly a real cure for it, but the progress in treating it has come a long way, that somebody that has it today can live a relatively normal, long life, where back in the 80s it was obviously with 30 million deaths, it could definitely kill you. So those are two high-level views of the war on drugs and the AIDS epidemic.